Aquarius is a fixed air sign. It's fixed because its time of year does not lead us into a new season, nor does it usher us out of an old one. Instead, it holds the winter energy in place. Fixed signs are strong, unyielding, and stable. But remember, this is fixed air, so there is a natural tension in this sign, as air prefers to move freely. Air signs are the thinking signs, so Aquarian strength and rigidity is connected to the way Aquarius processes information. Whilst each sign has its own distinct qualities, these inherent characteristics must be filtered through the lens of the ruling planet of that sign. To understand the dynamics of Aquarius and our current age, we have to look at Uranus. Unlike other planets, the mythological Uranus doesn't correspond with the astrological Uranus. Astrologer Richard Tarnas theorized that the astrological Uranus is best represented in myth by Prometheus. Prometheus was a Titan god who had a vision to advance humanity by giving them the gift of fire. Zeus, king of the gods, refused to allow this, as fire would allow humanity to become like the gods themselves. But Prometheus rebelled against Zeus's orders and bestowed fire to humanity anyway. For this crime, Zeus punished Prometheus by having him chained to a rock to have his liver pecked out each day by an eagle. At night, his liver would regenerate, condemning Prometheus to an endless cycle of torture. In his book Prometheus the Awakener, Tarnas writes, quote, "The planet of Uranus was empirically associated with the principle of change, rebellion, freedom, liberation, reform, revolution, and the unexpected breakup of structures," end quote. So the astrological Uranus, like Prometheus, is visionary and concerned with the advancement of humanity as a collective. Uranus brings change, whether we want it or not, and that change usually comes at the expense of disrupting the established order. The age of Aquarius will be the age of the advancement of man through science and technology. The only question is, what will we advance toward? Unlike Gemini, who wants to connect by sharing information and ideas with others, or Libra, who wants to form relationships through civilized discourse, Aquarius is concerned with connecting humanity itself, not through shared ideas, but through shared ideals. The English word ideal comes from the Proto-Indo-European word wide, meaning to see. An ideal is a perfect vision, like Prometheus had a perfect vision to bestow fire to humanity, and in turn, humanity, as a collective, had a vision to conquer the natural world and rise above it. When the Uranian spirit grants a vision, it has the power to become all-consuming. We are all familiar with Uranian stories, which were told with remarkable frequency as we approach the Aquarian Age. Uranus is represented in media by the mad scientist, the brilliant inventor, who is hit with a perfect vision out of the blue as though struck by lightning. He will stop at nothing to see his vision become real, and so often, once his work is finished, he looks on, horrified by what he has created. This Uranian story plays out in real life as well. Oppenheimer, who invented the atomic bomb, famously lamented that he had blood on his hands. Tim Berners-Lee, who invented the World Wide Web, has been vocal in recent years about his concerns over the corporatization of his invention and how it has been used to invade personal privacy. Alfred Nobel, who invented dynamite in order to make construction easier, was shocked when he was referred to by the newspapers of the time as the Merchant of Death, on account of his invention being weaponized as a tool of war. This led to him founding the Nobel Peace Prize in an effort to transform his legacy. This is the problem when we receive powerful Uranian visions. We become so focused on the ideal that the true impact is forgotten or ignored until it is too late. And like Prometheus before them, many Uranian types end up tortured by their own success once their vision is fulfilled. Aquarius is an enormously powerful sign, capable of brilliance and ingenuity that we can scarcely imagine. But like all signs, it has its weaknesses. In the sign of Aquarius, this weakness is represented by its detachment from reality in pursuit of the perfect ideal. Yes, it would be wonderful if no person ever had to be hungry again, but what are the consequences of genetically engineering crops? It is highly convenient to have AI perform tasks in minutes that would take a human being hours, but what are the consequences for the people who no longer have jobs to do? Equal rights is a good thing, but what about the right of an individual to speak their mind freely, even if it offends another? On this last point, it's worth noting that another strong trait of Uranus and the sign Aquarius in general is the lack of tolerance for dissent. The scientific and technological slant of this sign comes from the Uranian impulse to systemize. Systemization does not like randomness. Its natural response is to root it out and delete it. If we thought the religious wars of the last age were inhumane, it will count as nothing in comparison with what Aquarius is capable of, with all of its advanced technology. Dissidents can be deleted with the click of a button, no human emotion involved. We are already seeing it. The term cancelled has now entered the public lexicon and illustrates this point in the microcosm. We have entered the era of persona non grata, the unwelcome individual. Speak up against the group, you are cancelled. Step out of line, you are cancelled. None of us alive today will be around to see how this will end. We have another 2,000 years left before this age reaches its conclusion. But those of us who are here have a responsibility to ourselves and to future generations to leave behind a world where we still have the right to express ourselves as individuals. We must make this our vision and fight hard to protect our natural right to exist as individual entities. Because you know what happens to a right when you don't use it. You lose it. One of the greatest aspects of astrology is that it's a self-contained and complete system. Each sign has its polar opposite, and each planet has its balancing energy. In order to balance Aquarius and use the energy to enhance and uplift, we must look to the opposite sign of Leo. Ruled by the sun, the creative essence of our realm, Leo represents the divine and unique fingerprint of the individual. Astrologically, the sun governs the soul of the individual. It rules over passion, courage, vitality, and the ability to stand out and be seen. Leo is the sign of creativity and love, not romantic love, but the familial, unconditional, and pure love that one has for their children and families. Leo rules over the heart, which means center or core, and Leo reflects the individual personality, the part of us that only exists within ourselves and can never be replicated. Symbolized by the lion, Leo and the sun both signify authority, kingship, and personal power. This is the energy we must draw upon now to balance Aquarian energy. We must not be afraid to deviate from the group, nor to speak out when we feel something needs to be said. We must draw on our creative skills, whatever they may be, and be brave enough to share them with the world. We must focus on children and share in their joyful and playful state of being. Above all, we must exercise our sovereignty and protect our right to express ourselves as individuals at all costs. Leo is a sign of strength, and despite its playful persona, the lion will fight when its pride is threatened. We must channel this energy now, peacefully, consciously, and with the full awareness of what is at stake if we fail. Too much Leo leads to pride, selfishness, and arrogance. Too much Aquarius leads to detachment, coldness, and the loss of individuality. The key to success has always been in finding the balance. I have often wondered that despite the previous age of Pisces being symbolized by the fish, it was the Virgin Mary that endured as the symbol of Christian devotion. The Virgin is the symbol of Virgo, the opposite sign to Pisces. If Pisces rules the hidden dimensions of the unconscious, then Virgo rules what is seen and what is real. Virgo is the sign of discernment. How differently would the previous age have played out had we actively practiced the principle of discernment? Would we have allowed the church and state to have so much control over our lives? Would we have been so easily led into the ideological wars that characterized that era? Perhaps the image of the Virgin was being pulled out of our collective unconscious to remind us of the need for balance, or perhaps it was just a coincidence. Speaking of coincidences, the soul group, The Fifth Dimension, released The Age of Aquarius in 1969, and this launched the idea of the Age of Aquarius into public awareness. It was actually a double track with 2 songs. Does anyone remember the name of the other song? Let me know in the comments.